Hey folks, TechTucker here. In today's episode, we are going to go on the first game hunt of 2024. So it's going to go across a few charity shops, a cash converters, and a CEX as well. So without further ado, stay tuned and see the hunt.
Hello folks and welcome to the first game hunt of the year. Starting off strong, we're in the Edinburgh CEX. Solid selection of Mega Drive titles there, but again, none of them have manuals. With those changes from CEX, I think they are particularly handy. However, it's a bit of a pain if you want a good deal now, because ultimately they've hiked those prices up pretty high. I mean, finding a nice box GameCube there and a box Game Boy Advance player, don't see that every day, so that's a unique thing to find in a CEX store. As well as just some general N64 cartridges, not the biggest selection in the world or anything like that. But again, titles I've already got, but it's a good selection of titles of Stadium 2 and Smash Bros and such. If I hadn't just played a Cowabunga collection, I would have probably got that TMNT on this NES. And yeah, that Batman Arkham Origins Steelbook is very cool in my opinion. However, it is a bit dirty condition wise. I don't know if that one's got much value or anything, but hey ho, we move on. And then, yeah, just picking up some 360 titles here again, just some odd miscellaneous ones that are pretty cheap at this point that I still don't have in the collection. So that Ace Combat Assault Horizons, of course, that was coming home with me. And then you've got Fuse here. I believe that was developed by Insomniac Games before they were acquired by PlayStation not too long ago. So, and just still browsing the 360 section again, it's a pretty solid selection. Didn't know EA Sports had made an MMA game on the 360, so you bet that's coming home with me as long as it's got the manual. So you're about to find out if I get that or not. And then, of course, NBA Jam. Again, that's a title that I've been on the lookout for a good while now. It's been well over a year now, and it's got the manual, so I'm very happy to pick that up. Had one in my eBay watch list for the longest time, I just never bit the bullet on. And then, of course, take a quick look at UFC Undisputed. Don't know if I had this one for £1, I would have picked it up if the case wasn't as battered as it was. And then, if I wasn't travelling via train, I would have absolutely picked up that Super Scope. That was very cool. But, oh well, it was very nice shape by the looks of it too, but yeah, I didn't fancy carrying that around considering CX was my first stop of the day. But yeah, some GameCube titles there and Pokemon Black too. And this CEX has the Pikachu N64 outside, which is very cool. A very, very good selection in this CEX store, I would say, in my opinion. I've seen much worse selections throughout the year, and for it being January, pretty solid, but £550 for a copy of Rule of Rose. But before I moved on, I had to grab a breakfast roll from Greg's, and I'm taking a look for the first time in a Sports Direct game. Of course, this is the new normal, and yeah, I had a look. It is a sorry state of affairs for a game these days. Yeah, it's all just Lego sets, toys, and there's not even any like rhyme or reason to it. It's just random rubbish, to be perfectly honest. It's all tat, and the fact they're ceasing the trade-ins as well, it's just another nail in the coffin for game in my eyes. I don't know if this is a move to try and shut them down permanently, or if it is, a viable strategy for some reason, considering with pre-owned goods, it's probably where they got the most profit margin. And yeah, all the toys and that they sell, I rarely ever see shift. Like every time I go into these shops, it's always the same toys. Like they've still got Lightyear toys filling up shelf space. Shang-Chi toys absolutely nobody wants. Even if they were £1, probably no one would buy them. It's like the poor man's Forbidden Planet. Then found this random tech shop, so had some games in the window, so just had a quick look. I would say the most interesting thing to see here was Star Fox Guard, how they were sealed. They were in Espanol, so I ultimately left them. If that's not the correct language, then my bad, but hey ho. Yeah, as I say, it's tech space is what the shop was. It's a pretty nice wee shop. The people in there were nice, so see if I pick up anything from there. And now we are on to the charity shops. With the charity shops again, this is a British Heart Foundation. I'm really struggling to find anything these days in charity shops. Again, this is the next one over. I believe this is Shelter. Just the same stuff that's been rotten on the shelves for months, maybe even years at this point. That's just a UMD for a sports game. Yeah, the same shop had Skylanders. Look at the prices, they priced them all accordingly. My guess is they just looked them up on CEX and went, oh, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that money, and no, nobody really wants Skylanders. So yeah, next charity shop here is Salvation Army. The only thing they had was Dancing on Ice and the Wii. So next door, they also have a British Heart Foundation. Again, just the same old tat that you find everywhere and anywhere. Yeah, charity shops are not the reason I go game hunting as much these days. I do like looking in places like Cash Generator, for example. There are the stores I'm actually always anticipating going into, because while I'm not necessarily going to get the most amazing deals in the world, I will at least have an interesting selection. Like this Game Boy player for £50. And no, it did not have the disc. I asked. But yeah, again, it's a with a Cash Generator, there is a lot of the same kind of stuff, but they do get new stuff in more or less every time I'm in there, like that Game Boy camera box. Very cool to see that. Same sort of Switch game stack right there. They've also got just the same cartridges as they usually have as well. So Batman Forever there, I nearly bought the last time I was there, but I ultimately left it, and to be fair, I'm glad I did. But yeah, that was in Liz. I did ask about that. The artwork was taped onto the box, and it did have manual, which is a shame. If the box itself wasn't in such poor shape, then I would have picked it up. But yeah, finally some decent game selection here. It's just a shame about the prices, they were kind of high. More on Animal Crossing later. This shop here, again, found some Pokemon themed items, which is pretty cool. A Pokemon playing mat right there, some Pokemon figures. They were marked at £2 each, like the figures was £2 as a whole in that bag, and then the mat was £2 as well. Then I found this was a cancer research charity shop, found an Xbox 360, £35, no controller or anything like that, power cable only, and the warranty seal's been ripped off, so my guess is it does not work. So good luck selling that for £35, I do not believe you'll get it. And then you've got the Getaway and Wolfenstein and PS2 just in that shop, that was Shelter. But back at, what's it called, Backtrack. This shop I only check out maybe once a year or so. To be honest, like, it's fun to kind of go into it and have a quick nosy around, but it's not a place I could ever see myself regularly checking out, because it's a very clustered, it's very messy, it's not an easy to navigate shop, and I can't just, when the games are stacked like this, I can't just pull them out and have an inspection. There's not really any prices on them either, so it just makes things difficult. But yeah, rounding off the game hunt with a pint of Asahi. Every time I'm out, I always source one out. So now over to the game room for pickups.
Alright, so not a bad hunt at all. As I say, I'm pretty happy with the pickups that I've got here. It's not stuff I would normally go for all the time. It's just a few bits and pieces here and there. It's not a huge haul or nothing like amazingly rare or whatnot. But yeah, I did get some interesting finds, to say the least. In the first stop, which was CEX, I did manage to grab 3 360 titles, which you saw in the clips for sure. All complete, nothing to really say of note here. Again, I did get Ace Combat Assault Horizons, reason I picked up, I just didn't have it in the collection yet. Also had the soundtrack CD, yeah, which I didn't know it came with. Don't know if it's maybe a limited edition thing or something of that nature. But again, yeah, came with that. Don't know if it's maybe a multi-pack, I'm just having a look at the disc, but yeah, no, overall pretty happy with that. So £1.50, absolute bargain on that front, I would say. And then next one here is a sports title, good grief, EA Sports MMA. Yeah, as I say, I do enjoy like the UFC games and such, so it'll be interesting to see what came before it essentially. Maybe because I think THQ at this point did the UFC games anyways. I've got one of the UFC games on the 360, but yeah. I'm interested just to give this a shot. Again, I know almost nothing about this. Don't know if it's like a certain brand of MMA or anything like that, but hey ho, it'll be worth a shot just to check it out for £1.50. Can't go wrong. It's interesting, the 360, it's got a good slew of like sports titles. I do have, the odd FIFA. I've got, Fight Nights, things like that. I try to have at least one game of each sport, so yeah, I've got, to be fair, I just said I've got a UFC game, but regardless of the matter of the fact. And then finally, one I've been after for a good while is NBA Jam on the Xbox 360. The disc on this one's not too bad. Here we go. Again, I had one on my eBay watch list for like a year for like a $5. The disc's got some like surface scratch, nothing too major though. Yeah, as I say, it's in okay shape. I was close to turning it down, but I can always just take it to get resurfaced or whatnot in my local CEX store. But yeah, very happy to add that one to the collection. Again, it's one of those where I'd say this one's quite uncommon actually. £8 for a sports title on the 360. You know, it's quite elusive at that point. And then finally, the last game pickup, I got a copy of Sneakers on the original Xbox. Again, reduced down to a £5. Yes, mainly because it is disc, no manual, unfortunately. Just the receipts in there to make sure I didn't have any important information. But yeah, in terms of this, I do believe this is a US only release and it was a Toys R Us exclusive. So, I mean, looked kind of interesting, so why not pick it up? It's just an odd one. You do not see like American ESRB games for original Xbox hanging around UK stores very often. So yeah, solid stack of titles here. Again, I'm pretty happy with this overall. I'm not complaining. These are some solid titles that, again, Ace Combat, the Assault Horizons one I've been kind of on and off looking for. Not a high priority one, but NBA Jam was one that I always wanted to pick up. So got a few more pickups that aren't exactly video games, but you did see them in the clip, but I'll go over them in a bit more detail. Okay, so going over the next few pickups, see if I can stand back far enough. Yeah. This is very cool. It is one of the Pokemon trading card game playmats. It's the Mega Salamence EX Premium Collection. Yeah, Premium Collection playmat. So for this one, I think it sells on average for about like £10 or so, getting a hey about £10 or so. So it's not like a major like haul or anything like that, but it's very cool. I'm half considering just keeping it as like a mouse mat, table mat, and it was only £2 as you can see there. The camera will readjust focus slightly. Yeah, well, it's £2 either way. So it's like it's a mouse mat like texture. I've never had a game card like playmat or anything like that before. It's one of those where I don't actively play Pokemon trading card game or buy trading cards as whole. There was a point where I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the thrill of opening the packs, but I never played the game. So, I mean, yeah, it's a cool thing to have. Maybe in the future if I don't need it, I'll probably just sell it on. But yeah, it's very cool. And for £2, I couldn't leave it. Tried to haggle it down a pound or so, but yeah, they weren't having it then. If you're eagle-eyed, you will see the figures down here. I did get at the charity shop. So we grabbed the first couple here. They were all in a wee plastic bag as you saw in the footage for £2. So I did get this Jolteon figure here. The camera's too busy focusing on my face. Give me one sec. There we go. So yeah, it's a pretty cool figure, but its face is a bit derpy, so it's the only thing that ruins it. It does have a few like markings here and there as well, which is a shame, but it's very cool. Its legs are posable. So yeah, that's all it really does. It does come in a set of like 2 other figures, but I don't know what they are off the top of my head. And then I did get this Scizor, which again, its sculpt is very cool. It's like battle ready. Its play feature is that. Of course its arm's not staying up, but its arm usually stays up when you do that, but yeah, it does like bullet punch or whatever. Again, this is a very cool figure. I did consider selling these on, because out of Smith's, these are like $11.99 or something to buy new, which is a lot. I'd say that's quite a lot of money for what these are essentially, but you're paying for the Pokemon brand, I suppose, at the end of the day. But no point in selling. I think they're really cool, and of course it just happens to be like some of my favorite Pokemon. So we've got this Charizard figure here as well. Again, for pretty much like just under 50p each. Not bad at all. Its wings articulate, arms as well. Then you can get a like classic artwork pose of him like roaring and screaming in his mouth. And if you do this, I'm gonna have to find that later. But yeah, he shoots his thing, so yeah, he's like, ah. But yeah, very cool figure right here. As I say, it'll make a good shelf piece. Got a little Charizard over here as well, which I found in a charity shop a good while ago. So again, can never have enough Charizards. And I've got a Sirfetch'd, a Mimikyu, and Pikachu on the shelf there as well. But yeah, then the final Pokemon here, and I think the coolest one of them all, Aerodactyl. His wings like flap, and you can put them inwards and stuff. But yeah, his tail articulates as well, and his legs also move. And then they had the, I forget what you call these, Moshi monsters. Yeah, the bunny thing. I know nothing about Moshi monsters. I'm not going to pretend I do. And then there was one more game pickup that I didn't go over in the last one, and that was Animal Crossing on the Wii. At this time, I no longer have it because I have given it to my brother because he didn't have it. So I did get to keep the Club Nintendo points and the Wii Speak like instruction booklet that came with, which is so again my copy's now complete. So ultimately, it was labelled as £4, but I did not pay £4 because I took the disc out. I had a look at it, and yeah, it was pretty scratched. So I took it up to the till, and I said to the gentleman there, just being like, "Disc's like quite badly beaten up. I'm not sure it'll work." Ultimately, at that point, I didn't care if it was gonna work. I solely just wanted to get it for like the case and the instructions and that because I didn't know if mine was complete or not. So what I did is I took it to the till and was like, listen, I'll still give you like £2 or something if it doesn't work. Like I don't care. I just want to take this home with me regardless. And he was saying to me, he's like, no, with the condition it was in, we would have never put that out on the shelf. So ultimately, what he did is like, he was saying he didn't want to sell it really, but I was like, listen, at the end of the day, I want it regardless if it works or not. So he's like, I mean, if you just want to give us £1 or so, that's fine. I'm like, cool. Do you want me to just pop the £1 in the donation box? Don't even bother a receipt, and I'll walk out. You know. He was quite happy with that. So at the end of the day, the charity still got some money. I got the copy of the game. Now it's in my brother's collection. It's scratched quite a bit. I reckon it could still work, but ultimately, if you were to put it through a resurfacer, it would be completely fine. Yeah, that brings us to the end of this hunt. So again, a pretty successful first hunt of 2024. Hoping to do more when the weather gets a bit better and such. It's just not really the time of year to go out and about. And with general life stuff, I am very busy anyways. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do like, share and subscribe. It does help massively. Closing in on that 1,000 subscriber milestone. So again, let's really push for it. Let's get there. Hopefully February time, that would be fantastic. Again, we're not too far off now, just over like 50 subscribers at the time of filming this that, you know, I need to gain. So again, thanks for all your support, and of course, if there is anything you want me to record or you want to see from the channel, just let me know. Very receptive to any feedback you may have. And yeah, and if there's anything I can do to continue to improve the videos or things again you want to see, just let me know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe, and of course I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks and goodbye.